Um, Welcome to today's panel discussion on career discovery, where we'll be diving into the art of crafting multidimensional and future-proof careers. We're thrilled to have a distinguished group of innovators and thought leaders with us today, ready to share the unique journeys with us. In this session, we'll explore how to move beyond traditional career ladders and embrace more dynamic and fulfilling career paths. By the end of this discussion, hopefully you'll have valuable tools and perspectives to help you design a career that reflects your unique strengths, interests, and values. Let me begin by introducing myself. My name is Anu Sabu. I am the moderator for today. A little bit about me. I'm a research fellow in the Bionics Auditory Neuroscience Group in Bionics Institute in Melbourne, Australia. And have been volunteering with IEEE for the past 12 years in various capacities. Currently, I'm the treasurer of IEEE Victorian Section and also the chair of the Young Professionals Committee in IEEE Victorian Section. I'm also the program chair for the Upskill program under Region 10 Young Professionals Committee and also one of the editors for our 10 newsletter. Now let me move on and introduce our first panelist, Dr. Subodha Charles. Subodha is a faculty member at the University of Moratuwa in Sri Lanka. He is also an entrepreneur who contributes to running a 100-person operation across multiple industrial sectors. He has volunteered at IEEE since 2011 and will be the incoming MGA Student Activities Committee Chair for 2025. Welcome, Subodha. Our next panelist is Vijay S. Paul. Vijay is an IEEE senior member and the current chair of IEEE Victorian Section, having devoted 16 years to active IEEE volunteering. He is also the chair of the IEEE Region 10 Information Management Committee, as well as the inaugural Young Professional Representative for the Australia Council. A strategic communications professional by day, he works with Monash University, Australia, as their communications advisor at the COO portfolio. Welcome, Vijay. Our next panelist is Dr. Jessica Bien. Dr. Jessica is the 2024 chair of the IEEE Industry Engagement Committee and vice president of Grid Services at Gridex Partners. A former IEEE Power and Energy Society president, she is a pioneer in grid reliability and risk assessment, previously leading performance analysis at North American Electric Reliability Corporation in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome, Jessica. Our final panelist is Dr. Yujiro Maeda. Yujiro is an ecosystem builder in the health tech space and founded an accelerator in Japan called BioDesign in collaboration with Stanford University and is an investor, incubator, and academic faculty. Welcome, Yujiro. Next, I'd like to invite the panelists to share just a brief overview of their non-linear career journeys. This will help our audience to understand the unconventional career pathways that you have taken and provide them with insights for any questions they might want to ask later if they haven't prepared some. So let's start with you, Subodha.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. First of all, it's a pleasure to be among all the other panelists. The career journey so far, and I'll keep it brief. So as most of us did, went through college, 4 years of bachelor's degree, and at the end of it, I took two paths. There's no proper line that I can go, but it happened as I went forward. I went into entrepreneurship, started a company, and continued that path. And also, I studied in Sri Lanka for my bachelor's, and then I moved to Florida in the US to continue with my postgraduate studies. So I completed my master's and PhD over there. So it took two separate paths, both happening at the same time. So our companies were running on one side, and I was studying my postgrad at the same time. So this kind of converged in 2021, where I moved back to Sri Lanka, and then I started working as a faculty member at the University of Moratuwa, which is the top engineering school in the country, and continued the work with our companies as well. So the two paths had overlaps in some instances, but in most cases there was no overlap. So we'll talk about that in detail, but that has been my career journey so far.
Thanks for same thing, definitely happy to be here. Thanks for the opportunity. So my career has been a mix of a lot of experience. I have an undergrad in engineering and a master's in arts, completely poles apart, very different fields. Somewhat similar as what others said. I did my undergrad degree. During my degree, I realized that I liked the technology part of engineering, but the part where I saw a gap was this technology was not being communicated well to, say, the wider audience or even researchers. And so started exploring that bit. Very initially started off as a graphic designer in the second year of my undergrad, because I like design, let's see where it goes. Got into content, and by the time I graduated, I realized I did not want to work as a full-time engineer, especially in the field of electronics, but I still want to work in a field where technology is communicated. With that, right after my undergrad, I initiated my own startup, which was focused on technical comms and strategic comms in general. Most of the clients I work with were, say, research institutes or technical organizations where I was helping them translate their technical research stuff or anything that was technical into using technical comms into stuff that's more understandable for the layman people or even for the market in general. So continuing off with that, reached a point where I realized this is all I can do with my skill set. Sold off my startup, pursued my master's with Monash University in Australia, and then as my career journey took me forward, worked with research institutes, especially AI and data science for a few years, again in technical comms. And then as career journey took me forward, currently I work in a purely managed communication field, but still stay in touch with the research and the technical side through IIT and through the various other works I've been doing. But in terms of experimenting in the last 11 or 12 years, because I didn't want to be personally defined by a single role, tried out a lot of different things. I was a cartoonist for a few publications for 2-3 years. I also worked as a freelance photographer for the tourism department in India for some time. And so it was just trying to understand this mix of what works best and where I would draw that line between what's my job through which I get paid and what's my passion, and just trying to understand, is it okay to have an overlap, is it okay to not have a mix? But yeah, we're happy to talk about that.
Okay, well, thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Region 10 young professionals for inviting me here and honored and humbled. I didn't have a linear path either, and I would say it's because of my curiosity and kind of shaped me who I am today. I particularly like the Ikigai, this particular theme, kind of summarized how I grew up. Once I got my a PhD degree, I went into manufacturing because I felt it's kind of slow in research at university, right? And I felt itchy. I taught at school as an assistant professor for 1 year. So it's not for me. And I moved on to, I joined the manufacturer, but it was still research. So I had patents and lots of IEEE technical papers. And so I was trying to, I mean, this, how energy industry would keep your lights on. So this is what I did. So we got this, well, we can have this advanced technology that I invented, could be, right, used in power companies, but we actually had 3 experiment, like a demo project, and never went to the massive deployment. So I said, why? So that curiosity took me to system operating. I want to see how they dispatch the different electrons, right, lights on all the buildings and homes. And after that, we had blackout events. So what happened? And then I joined the regulatory agency, which is government. It's like the dark police, right? And when I joined them, I find like there are 35 years lawyers, economists, mathematicians, besides engineers. So I said, well, I asked a lawyer 35 years in that particular agency. He said, well, because I have a magic wand, and I'm like the police from the dark side, right? Whoever is not causing the blackout, I can come and find. So there's a great cause, and these lawyers have a magic pen, they can write policy and regulation and made whole industry change. So that is, I think that's what I want to do. So I joined the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission in Washington, D.C., and became a regulator. And I found out they have great writers. So I wanted to become a good writer, and I wanted to, so they're just, I mean, I think that like what Deepak said earlier, it's a growing mindset that keeps me going. And that's probably my, thank you.
I'd like to give us for inviting me as a partner in this conference, and actually I started my career as oral market professor after I get the DDS qualification. That's Southern Ireland. And I spent 4 years as an oral surgeon. And I started my research career as bioengineering department of the University of Tokyo, but as soon as I started my research, I realized that I was not good at the research. Then I really studied at Harvard University at that time, but my focus sent us to Stanford University, by the way. Then when I walked along Stanford University campus, I realized that Japan is cheap or poor than US. Actually, GDP at that time, Japan's GDP is second or third rank in US in the world, and also like this. But GDP per capita was still lower than other high-income countries. So I wonder why that's happened. I happened to find the Institute of Stanford have a startups, especially even in the medical technology field. And we understand as a clinician, we import many medical devices from US. Even although we are exporting many cars to US, but we continue importing the medical devices from US. So I want to change the situation, and I decided healthcare and medical device model is a way Japanese Japan's economy devising to contribute health and the life of the world. Then I came across the Biozyme process, which originated from Stanford University, which focused on promoting human talent development in medical startups. Then I learned the Stanford Biozyme process and got back to Japan. I happened to I studied in Japan as a program at Tokyo University, but I realized that there are no ecosystem in medical device in Tokyo and Japan. We don't really have any good medical device development experts. In Japan, especially, they are really concerned and reimbursement expert, and we have no VCs who are investing in medical device technology in Japan. So that I decided to start everything, ecosystem in the medical device field in Japan. So I'm teaching medical device education at university, and also running the consulting company in medical device field. And I just started venture capital to invest money to medical device startup in Japan. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we move into some specific questions. I know you've heard a brief background on how they have transitioned across different roles and different industries, and I hope you have some questions by the end of it. So just to get the discussion started, we wanted to focus on how the different roles have helped you guys across the different industries and how you have integrated all these passions and interests to deliver like a cohesive career narration in today's world. So my first question is to you, Siddhartha. You have successfully expanded your ventures from energy into diverse sectors like construction, software, digital marketing, and healthcare with your company called Cluster. So how have you managed to integrate these varied interests, and what strategies did you find effective in aligning these different fields under one cohesive narrative?
Right. I'll start by saying the concept of a multi-dimensional career, I think it's a very subjective thing. It depends, it differs from person to person. What it means for me will not be the same for the other three panelists, I believe, so we get to hear their perspective as well. Since the question is specifically asked from me, I'll give my opinion on that. So the way that kind of connected everything, that was an afterthought. Initially we started with the market. What is the opportunity available? We went with that and then started connecting the dots backwards. So in terms of timeline, we started our work in 2012. Now it's been 12 years. We started from energy. We are still an EPC contractor doing solar PV and other energy installations. That was our starting point. Then we wanted to do things. That was one of our passions. So we talk about passion a lot. Our passion is to develop something, bring it up to a level that it's self-sustaining. So we keep on doing that. In that journey, we started investing all our profits back into the company, and we grew in multiple different areas through that. So if I connect energy with the software things that we do, so the energy company is about 50% operation right now, software company is about 35% operation. Initially, the software company started doing what is required in the market. We looked at clients, what they require, we deliver. And then later we realized that, okay, now we have enough capital. With that, why don't we go into products? Earlier we were in services. So when we were in products, our unique selling point was our experience in energy. So then the products were given for energy efficiency. So if you take things like demand response, energy management, monitoring, those are the products that we started to deliver. So coming back to your question, the strategy kind of connected the dots backwards, where we entered the market forces and tried to see what are the skills that we have, and based on that, we started connecting our different ventures together.
Thank you so much, Siddhartha. I'll just follow on with Jessica on this one. So Jessica, in your introduction, you mentioned that you started in academia and then you moved across to industry, then you moved into government, and then you were trying to figure out questions that you had for yourself while transitioning through those roles. What skill sets did you acquire through each different role, and what helped you survive through that transition?
Great question, because I have answers. So the way it started, I thought, well, with a PhD, right, it's kind of natural to go to the school and teaching, but it didn't turn out. It doesn't fit me because I was working, and I see that I can actually speed up a lot of things by creating something new and getting to manufacture and help the industry. But that's, I think when I joined the manufacturing firm, and when the industry started to get the power electronics into the field, I was the one actually met a lot of good engineers. They inspired me, so that why don't you join us, and you can still do the research and you can do a lot of new things, and they have a fantastic lab. So I tried these new things, and I started to write papers and worked in the labs, and I had a great time. But like I said earlier, it was not getting into the field like I wanted, the speed and scale. So I always carried the question, why is that? And why we could not get lots of advanced technology? I think about the phone and the things that you have, and it's pretty easy, right? If a big company wants to have the next generation, from 15, 16, you have it. But for the lights, for the energy, it's different because it's heavily regulated. Eventually, through my curiosity, through my digging, asking, and I think I I found an answer. So I felt that there's the other things I can do to help and speed up and so the industry can adopt more advanced technology, because I came from that background. And in terms of experience scale, I find out because it's the industry, power energy industry is very unique, and building consensus is the key. It's like IEEE, have a working group, and in order to move up, sometimes it's very slow, the process takes a couple of years to get something done, so they can, and we passed a lot of people here can feel that, but that's the process that we need to make sure that it's reliable and whatever comes out, like the standards, it can be adopted by everyone. So there are good things on it. So through that particular experience that I was able to build consensus, I think by doing that I learned a lot of psychology, and I can see, I can feel someone's world is my own reality. Because I put my shoes into, I put myself into other shoes, and I know that whatever experience is in my world, and may not, like suppose that we are different. So with that, I was able to find a common ground and build consensus and move forward. I think that's the experience and skill that I learned.
Thank you so much, Jessica. So continuing on from that, I'll ask my next question, Vijay. So Vijay, you said that you have transitioned from engineering, then you went on to do a startup, then you went on to some artwork, and then you did transition to communications. So how did you transition across those roles? What risks did you take, and do you think those risks were worth it, and would you recommend that to our young professionals?
Thanks, Nina, for that. See, it's again, it's nothing, it's not a question that I would say has same answer for everyone. It's very subjective. And I think as part of this whole panel and what we're discussing, one of the things is around passions. Similar to networking, I would say passion is overly romanticized word. But again, I have my reasons for it. So I'll first talk about the passion part and then the non-linear career part. Everyone says, similar to networking, networking is important. I think I need to establish that every congress, every conference, every you can hear the word networking at least once. And similarly, hear that you should work in a field that you're passionate about. But I am also of opinion, at least from personal experience, that when we talk about working in a field that you're passionate about, there are three different segments of that. You can work in a field you're passionate about for the whole of your life and still be excited about it. Especially if you are working in, let's say, some kind of research, or you have some kind of a product where there is some kind of new learnings, new growth every week, every month, every year. At the same time, you also need to realize the second aspect that what you're passionate about today, you might not be passionate about 5 years from now, 10 years from now. The same thing happened to me. When I started off my career in the field of communication, the primary aspect for me was writing. I used to love writing. There was a point where my startup looked primarily how I was involved. We very easily write 300 to 500 pages worth of content every month, right, in various capacities. It might be some kind of technical coach for someone, it might be even a social media post, whatever. So we were keeping track and it was that sort of content. But right now, if you ask me in terms of the work I do or in terms of how I define my field of communication, writing is very small. Right now, when I say I'm a communications professional, 10 years back I was primarily because I did that. Right now, when I say I'm a communications professional, it's purely focused on what is the idea that we're trying to do as an organization, as a client, as an marketer, or whatever, or right now as a user. So it's all about the messaging, and with that messaging, how you change the tone, how you change the voice, what impact does it create for someone else. So for me also, even though I'm living in the same field, my own definition has changed over the years. And the third aspect of that passion, I'd say, is I still meet people who are 30, 35, 40, 50 years old, who are like, they work in a field that they're not passionate about, and it's completely fine. There is no pressure that you have to be passionate about the field you work in. My brother, for example, he's been in the hospitality industry for almost 25, 30 years now. He hates the field. He absolutely hates the hospitality industry. But he works in it because it pays his bills, it gives him money to do things that he's passionate about. Right? So, when everyone says that, even today I have heard a lot of people say passion, right? Understand that there is no pressure on you. You have to go and feel you're passionate about. Even when you're 45 years, if you don't know what you're passionate about, if you're just grab a Monday blues and you're worried about going to office on Mondays, it's fine. A lot of people still have that. But it's always good to understand where your passion is. Your passion might be your hobby. For some people, the passion might be just coming back home after the days of work and spending time with the kids. The work is purely a 9-5 thing. So understand that there are various differentiations. Now, keeping the passion part on one board, when we talk about trying out multiple things, or as Subodha initially said very clearly, multi-dimensional terror is something that's very subjective. Every single person who has a terror, I would say, has a multi-dimensional terror. Say someone, for example, who is working on a thing for 10 years. You're not doing the same thing today that you're doing yesterday. Might be the same thing, but you're doing something completely different. So every individual in their career journey has a multi-dimension in some way or other. The only difference is, let's say for example, someone like me, it's boards. One is engineering, the other thing is arts. Like even now, I find it very weird in my IT circles when some of the first questions sometimes people ask me, so what's your technical field? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to answer that. Because I can say it's technical communication, but at least for the last 7 to 8 months, I'm not even exactly technical communication. It's purely management communication. So right now, I work with National University in Australia. They are the largest university. Close to 90,000 students, 19,000 staff, 19,000 students. And so I presently work in crisis communication and issues communication, which from an organization point of view has much greater impact than what the kind of communication has been last, say, 10 or 14 years of my career. So I would say the risk for any change or any flexibility in career depends purely on how informed the decision. It sounds very fancy, like, oh, I'm doing this today, I'll do something, I'm going to quit my job, and do something tomorrow. It sounds fancy, it makes up for a really good storyline, movie or book, but until and unless you make an informed decision why you are doing that, are able to probably experiment in some ways before you make that shift, that's when it becomes important. That's when it's very clear, you yourself have a good reasoning why that is important for you and your career.
Thank you so much, Vijay. So as we are talking about risks, my next question is to you, Vijay. You said you had a background in medicine. You worked as an oral surgeon for quite a while, and then you decided to pursue biodesign with the Stanford University. And then you said that you noticed that in Japan was not a good ecosystem for medical device industry. How has your experience with working with venture capitalists in the medical device industry shaped your perspectives on how you approach the new challenges and like the concept of embracing lifelong learnings and how challenging has it been?
Yeah, as I told you, I studied by Japan Biological program 10 years before, 10 years ago. And at that time, there are some medical startups, but very few medical startups in the medical device field in Japan. So I needed to start everything from scratch. So what I focused on is to try to educate the medical device innovation at the university. It took 5 years or so. I started to see some, promising medical device startups was launched in Japan too. Then for that purpose, what's very helpful for me was international collaboration. As I studied in Stanford University, but India, Singapore, and had also advised the program. So we exchanged the idea how to develop the system. for mega diverse ecosystem, the US, Silicon Valley has the best one, but India is trying to, catch up the Silicon Valley. It's right too, and Singapore too. Japan is, not soon after that. So we can catch up then. So international exchange is international collaboration was very fruitful for me. And I come to Canada, Canada, and I learned it's really important to listen from my masters. The first one is the changing uncomfortableness is very important for your career. As a professional, we just keep staying in there by professional field. That is very comfortable because we don't need to change anything, we don't need to, challenge. So but, to continue, changing my business field, every 5 years or 4 years, we are facing very uncomfortable. But to keep going, everything like that's in some way, that's uncomfortable, change to very comfortable. So that's very important for changing the career. And another one is the second one, to meet somebody who knows everything in that field. One of my boss who was the CEO of Japanese pharmaceutical company, actually he had suddenly to his desk. And I felt very uncomfortable before at the morning I started working for him because I didn't know. I know nothing about pharmaceutical business at that time. I was just just the dentist. But he had handed me, and I decided to try that uncomfortableness. And he told me that, usually you should buy many books when you challenge the new field. But you don't need to read that books. You take that books to meet the author and talk author in person to learn what is not written in the book. That's very important. So I follow his advice, and I always try new field. I bought 10 books, but I don't need that. Just need it. And the last one is book. Something that can change your life is meeting persons. That's the aspect. You can understand the meaning of this. When you meet somebody new, you can get the opportunity to change your life. That's the only way to change our career. That's my view.
Thanks so much, Juju. Now I'll take some questions from the audience. Does anyone have any burning questions?
Okay.
Hi, so good to have you here. I basically wanted to understand if I hear correctly, you were starting your post graduation and your startup together. So can you explain a little bit on how you manage and what are the most difficult challenges for you to manage both together?
There's a lot, so starting thinking at the start. It's all about prioritizing again. I think to Vijay's point, I'll make a point to what he said and then we will come back to these two are connected. his brother's example. So when we decide what exactly we want to do, we have like multiple areas to look at, and we decide which one is our priority. So I think of it, if I decide what to do, I think of it like this. Do you get freedom out of it? Do you get to hang out with people you want? Do you get to spend the time the way you want? That's freedom. Then we have influence. Who am I influencing? Then we have impact. Through my work, what impact am I making? So you don't have to have like 100% of all three. You will have a mix of it. Then you go with it. So to your question, how do you make time between postgraduate studies and the startup? Well, it's pretty hard. I mean, you end up working 14, 16 hours a day, and then you sleep. Even while eating, you watch something so that you learn. So it's a struggle. So that way you're kind of compromising on your comfort. You might be able to do that in your early 20s, but if you have a family, you're taking time away from your family. So these are compromises that we have to make, especially when we talk about multidimensional careers. You cannot have everything. You have to compromise in one area and you focus on the other. And the same thing with when it comes to money. I mean, everybody works to earn money. Everybody invests. If I wear the investor's hat, you invest to earn money. So you can have security as your number one priority. You can have comfort, or you can have being rich. For example, if you are a very secure person in terms of how you are allocating your funds, maybe your risk appetite is very low. So you don't take a lot of risks, so your reward will be less. But on the other hand, if you don't really value security, Elon Musk, for example, he bet everything he had on the line and he became very rich, but that might not work all the time. So it's completely up to you to decide, is it security that you value, is it comfort, or is it freedom, is it influence, is it impact? Multiple dials you can tune and decide. So how to manage, coming back to your question, you work really hard, you manage a whole bunch of things, and that comes at the cost of also having a lack of focus sometimes, because you have to jump from one to the other. Because as a researcher, I would like to spend like a whole week thinking about one research problem and only that, right? So that's in your head. You eat with it, you take a shower with it, you work with it. But then, if you have something else, then you get a distraction. You get a small interrupt where you have to go to that and come back to this. So your focus breaks. So yeah, these are the main challenges, like one comfort and then handling multiple things and being distracted.
Just a minute. Can you explain a little bit of what are the nature of job, what are you studying, and what you started doing?
Is this okay to take offline? Sorry to interrupt. We are running short on time. So I'll just take one last question from the person there, and we will wrap up.
Am I hearable like this? Sorry. My question is from Dr. Subhadra and Dr. Jessica. In my home clinic, I have my own startup, robotic startup. Like you make memorable robot for biodiversity. But the thing that, sorry to say that, what we lack connecting from the industry. I have attended many meetings for the biodiversity, like my startup is this, so I can connect. I wanted to connect, but there was no deadline. So how this thing, how you say that I have to like this way? Like biodiversity, like robotics, and how my startup can have a global platform.
This will be one of the places you want to go, right? And so I think in Stanford there's a professor who created a life design lab, and getting books and talking to people is one thing. Another thing is that you kind of list it, right? Things that you want to do that can help to get where you want to be, but you cannot try all of it. And so, actually talk to those people, right? Being successful, probably some of the company already big, and they can be making ways that you want to, and talk to those people. Have a lunch, coffee, dinner with them, and wherever you go, talk to them. So you can, let's say, 15 things you want to do, you cannot do it all, but at least you can try things and learn from that. And the top 3 things that you think that you actually want to try, and jump into it and do prototyping. And so that's what they call 3-step life design, is you have a list, and then for do the priority, and then the low priority, you try to talk to people, networking, and so that you can focus your time and energy on talking to people, and then you prototype.
Can you just answer in a few lines, Dr. Sudhir? Beginners want to know what should I do on a global platform?
Well, when you develop something, you start at the local level, you have to have some sort of thinking working, like your prototype working about the product. That is your main thing, right? And then once you develop that, you show that to people, and you try to get more and more buy-in that. So it's one core thing, and things kind of accumulate around it. To take it global networking, I used to write, say, 100 messages on LinkedIn. At one point, LinkedIn blocked me because I viewed too many profiles, started sending messages, then you upgrade to take a premium account, and then they new text. So yeah, once you send 100 messages, probably get 5 replies, and with one of them, you get a one-on-one. Yeah, for that, you need to have that initial seed so that you can show it and talk about
I
it.
will send it to you.
Thank you so much. Because we are running short of time, I hope everyone can ask questions to the panelists later when you need them in other sessions, and networking opportunities will be available. So I'd like to conclude the session by thanking the panel on behalf of all of us here. Thank you all for your valuable insights and contributions today. Your experiences and perspectives on navigating the multidimensional careers have been really enlightening. And we appreciate the time and expertise you have shared, and we look forward to applying these ideas as we shape our own career paths. Thank you all for joining us today, and thank you for asking engaging questions to the panelists, and I appreciate your participation. We really appreciate your time and contributions, and we hope you leave with new perspectives and ideas after this session.